Ice is ready. Oh my goodness. Ice is ready. And we are back with another episode of the Empty Netters podcast brought to you by LABATT Blue Light. Holy moly, the Cats are Cup champs for the first time in franchise history. My voice is gone.
Game, Dan.
Your voice is gone.
What a season.
Unbelievable.
What a series.
What a series. What a series.
Oh,
What a
no.
game. What a time. What a city. What a team. What a group of guys. I'm buzzing, man. I've got nothing but just like love and good things to say about everything that went on, about everyone on the ice for both teams. What an insane situation and just event that was. I mean, I don't even have words, dude. I don't even have words to describe how cool this whole series was, this whole season was. But my God, what else to say, dude? I think the hype of this game got so big, and there was so much at stake, right? Like I said to you guys, we were all sitting there getting ready for the game, hanging out down at I'm a resident at Elbow Room, dude. We just live at Elbow Room now. But we were at Elbow Room before the game, before we headed down to do a little tailgate and then get into the arena. And I said to you guys, if I were a Panthers fan, I would feel so conflicted. Not because obviously you're rooting for the Panthers with everything you have, but because you do acknowledge the whole destiny thing. You are like, dude, this is insane. Like, everyone is talking about this, you know, a Canadian team hasn't won since 93. Oilers have had this unbelievable comeback down 3-0. Connor McDavid is back in the building that he was drafted in. It is him. It is the chosen one. Like, there was so
RNH
much.
13 years to the day, drafted first overall. He stayed for this reason alone, Dan.
Like, there was just everything against them. Everything was against them. Because we talked about it, right? If this was Dallas, like, imagine if this was Dallas and Florida went up 3-0 in the series and then lost 3 games and it's all tied up. There would not be the same conversation. It wouldn't have been the same, you know, mystic vibes. So with all of that going in, so many of us were like, holy shit. I mean, I picked the Panthers in 6, but then I was like, dude, it just feels like this is so crazy. I'm taking the Oilers. I just thought the momentum. But what an unbelievable situation that, like we keep saying, as fans and as unbiased fans, like, going into that game, seeing how the Panthers were playing, I was like, this is fucking sick, dude. Do it. Win it on your home ice. Like, it was just, what a fucking game and what a cool-ass team.
Dude, you're so right about the build-up. Dude, you know how, Dan, in Austin Powers, I want to say it's the spy who shagged me. I want to say that. He goes, he comes out of a cryo freeze or something, and he goes, I'm having a hard time controlling the volume of my voice. Or like, it's, you know, I am having a hard time controlling the temperature of my body the last couple days.
Dude. Holy hell.
Dude, like, we were at the Elbow Room pregame, and I'm like, you're on a bender. It's a lot of travel. And I just think, I take that first sip of sun surf or whatever the surf sides. And dude, like, just start dumping water out of my body, like covered, soaked. Might as well be swimming in the Atlantic. That's how I feel. And it's because the nerves, it's because the drinking, the stress, all these things are just piling up, and we're just neutral fans. Yeah. Imagine if you were a player or someone deeply invested in this team. Like, I don't know how you survived the several hours till puck drop last night.
Dude, it's like we posted a meme. I was like, both fan bases must be absolutely shitting bricks right now for this game. So I'll say this, dude. We're going to get into it. We got our boy Yandle joining the pod in a moment, and we're going to discuss everything about all the craziness. But let's talk about the game alone.
Yep.
We get to Elbow Room, and I'll tell you what, dude, it was rattling. Like, Oilers fans everywhere. We posted a video to the story. We were like, holy shit, dude, Oilers fans are taking over this place. And I was very impressed with the Oilers fans who rolled out. They had a presence there in Florida. Like, it felt like a hostile takeover. And I was like, oh shit, dude, like, this is crazy. But we then get on the bus. We head to the arena.
Yeah, and the bus was sick. I forgot.
Bus was sick.
That was awesome.
Bus was sick. Booze everywhere, dude. Like, people were drinking by 3 p.m. on a Monday.
Did the Bus in 10 boys need us to take a bus? Is that what happened? I'm actually just realizing this, dude.
Maybe us getting on a bus.
I am actually just realizing that us
might
getting
have done
on the bus made Verhaeghe, who was the Bus in 10 king,
yes,
who hadn't scored in a million games. I think he was on 95 straight games without a goal.
Stop.
And we get on a bus, and then he scores. This isn't a bit. I'm just realizing this right now.
Who's gonna say you're wrong, dude? Not me. Not me. Holy moly!
That's wild,
well, listen, we get on the bus. We get to the arena. Tailgate, unbelievable. Get inside. Yep. Cold zone. Coors Light cold zone. Go and see our gals. That's when the vibes came through. That's when I was looking around, seeing all these Panthers fans. Sure, they're nervous, but they weren't letting it get to them. They were fucking partying. They were rocking. They were doing shots. They had their jerseys on. And I was like, okay, dude. Okay.
Yep.
Like, the vibes are here. And you know what I also love? We posted that clip saying that Game 5, the barn was too quiet. There were a couple people who were like, what do you mean? Like, we scored the third goal. And I'm like, yeah, when you scored, it went nuts. But last 10 minutes of the third, it was too quiet. So many Panthers fans came up to us and they were like, dude, you guys were right. It was too quiet. We're not going to let that happen today. And that place was fucking buzzing, dude. Buzzing. I give Matthew Tkachuk so much credit. He had ballsy comment, dude. Ballsy comment for him to be like, this is going to be the loudest arena that I will ever play in. And
coming out of Rogers in Game 6.
Right? You knew that Oilers fans were going to be like, oh, yeah, dude, like, give me a fucking break, blah, 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 blah. And then, my God, did they show up, dude. Like, they showed up, and that place was raucous. And I was like, fuck yeah, Tkachuk. Like, what a comment, what a quote. And then the way the fans came through and did just that, they turned that place out. I was like, this is fucking sick.
They really did. I will say, though, hey, it was great. But I will say, they did play Sudoku again. And I just feel like we got to find a new game, dude. That's all. And the place was popping, dude. It was great. We just got to find a new game.
What actually is it? It's like a word search or some shit.
I don't know. Yeah,
I think it's
like
that.
They find like goal or something.
Yeah.
Like,
we were dying though. Like when it popped up, like it's like this word search. Like, we were like, "Come on, no! What are we doing?
You can't do it again." That was insane, dude.
But dude, it was just let's talk about all the hype, all of the gas that was going into this game, Game 7. Talking about this is the biggest Game 7 in Stanley Cup history. I think it is. People were talking about the Crosby against Detroit. Obviously 94 Rangers, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
We said them all. I think this was it, dude. Like, this was unbelievable. And the vibes were immaculate. People were fucking going crazy in that place. And you could feel how intense and important this game was. The game starts, dude. The Cats were back. Games 1 through 3,
dude,
Cats.
That looked like the Panthers.
Were so back. They were buzzing all over the ice, and I immediately was like,
friend. I was like, oh, there's my guy. It's like, dude, it's like when your boy who's now engaged and you haven't seen him in fucking months, and what you do, he's like making a charcuterie board, and he's like got a fucking.
What do you got against charcuterie boards, buddy?
Nothing. I love.
What do you got against charcuterie boards? I'm a big board guy. Take it easy.
He's making He's cutting up cantaloupe, and he's wearing like a sweater vest. You know, like those are the only times we ever see him. And
he's wearing reading glasses.
Yeah. And then he doesn't need. They're just clear. They're clear lenses. And then he's out. One night he's out, and then one drink leads to the next drink by accident, and then next thing
He's back,
he's
dude.
behind the bar ringing the bell. Yeah, I look away, he's behind the bar ringing the bell, and I go, there's my guy.
Yeah,
there he
he's
is.
back.
That was the Panthers in the first period. They were behind the bar ringing the bell.
It was Gandalf the White, dude. Like it was they dropped the cloak and an aura of light beamed from behind them, and I was like, this is it. They're back. They were all over the Oilers, and the Oilers were playing great too. I'm not saying the Oilers got caught on their back heel or anything like that. It was just the Cats from games 1 through 3 were fucking back and buzzing, and that's what I mean. The environment in that arena, they were just feeding off of it. They were loving it, and it was like, man, it was special. I was like, this is going to be the fucking coolest game ever, and it was. We were on the under early. We were like, we were on the over early. We all got excited. Yeah. We were like, this is gonna be crazy. 5-4 OT. Like I posted on the story, like joking around. I was like, give me 5-4 double. I mean, not joking around because that would have been sick, but 5-4 double OT was like the dream, right? But then we were talking about it, and we were like, dude, it's gonna be under. This is gonna be tight. Guys are gonna be. No one wants to make that mistake, right? It's game 7. No one wants to make that mistake, and it was just like this quick, tight game, unbelievable crisp passing. Guys were fucking taking short shifts, ripping all over the ice. And then let's talk about our boy Verhaeghe, dude. Guy has been, it always happens, right? When a stud and a star player goes through a rough patch, people are always like, where's so-and-so? Where's this guy? Verhaeghe scored the first goal of the series, hadn't scored since. And people were like, Verhaeghe this, Verhaeghe that. Cats get a peeper. Verhaeghe not on the power play. They put Tarasenko out there.
PP2.
They put Tarasenko out there, and let me tell you what, dude, the power play looked great. It looked better than it did in a long time. And they didn't score. And then PP2 comes out. And Verhaeghe's out there. Power play runs out, but then it's in that, what do we call it, CP? The vulnerable minute, dude.
The vulnerable minute.
Verhaeghe gets there in front. Shot comes in. Absolute sex tip. Boom. Cats on the board.
Dude, and it was such a good tip, dude. Like, it was absolutely incredible.
So incredible. And, dude, we talked about going into this. First goal was so important. I was like, first goal of this game, all 6 games, the team that scored first won the game.
Except for game 2. Oilers went up 1-0 in game 2. Panthers won 4-1.
That's right.
In fact, dude, that was the only lead change of the entire series, even through game 7.
That's right.
Like,
that's right.
That's how big that was. Because like the Panthers were giving them such a hard time for their aggressive pinching, giving up 2-on-1s. You know why they're aggressively pinching? Because they're losing. Because they're chasing games, right? Like it just changed. I think Nobby said it, or maybe Maurice, but somebody was like, it just changes your defensive structure when you're losing. So it's like that first goal was going to be so fucking big, especially in a 7, dude. In a 7, are you kidding me?
Dude, first of all, dash one for me. I got a little excited. Got a little too juiced up there. A little too much blood flowing. But 5 of the 6 first goal scorer wins. And we thought this first goal. So this is what I thought. I was like, if Edmonton scores first, I think it's over. Because I think that momentum would have just been dominant. It would have just been too much to handle. So Florida scores first on a sick Verhaeghe goal. Like, Verhaeghe's going now. The fucking roof of that arena absolutely popped off like a rocket ship. And I was like, oh, baby, huge. And then what, dude? 3 minutes later, like, truly.
Breakaway. Janmark.
Another.
Like, all the things that we're saying, like, you can't be getting beat by Connor Brown and Fogle and Janmark. And you can't be giving up breakaways. And they go, how about both, dude? Actually, not one. Try both on for size, dude. See how that feels.
Another breakaway, dude. Another breakaway. About 2 minutes later, boom, another breakaway. And tied up. And it was like, oh, my God, dude. I'll
say this, Dan. The groan in the building, and I don't know if you could hear it on TV, but the groan in the building when that happened was, I could taste it. I could feel it reverberating my skeleton, my exoskeleton, dude, because
Oh yeah.
the whole, like everything you just said, it was the whole crowd was like, okay, we got that goal, so much nerve, so much pressure relieved, and then not only did the Oilers tie it, but here we go again. That's what it felt like. It felt like a here we go again groan of like, you have got to be fucking kidding me that we're still doing this in Game 7. Like the building, I could feel the building side, the entire building side collectively.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah, it was like truly, truly unbelievable. And I will say though, there wasn't a give up in the building. Like it was a groan of like, are you fucking kidding me? And I was impressed because there was a lot of Oilers fans there, but it wasn't like they drowned out with cheers. But it gets tied up, and the Panthers fans were right back in it, dude. Back up on their feet, screaming, going nuts. And we go through rest of that period, 1-1 into the second, and then after almost, a full period, we get through 15 minutes, just back and forth hockey, no mistakes really, and who else but the other big boy, the other huge goal scorer for this team.
Who had been missing, admittedly.
Sam Reinert, fucking beauty, dude, gets a puck, and that was one of the coolest moments for me of the game when Rhino got that puck, gets it, top of the circle, and he's just coming down in. Everyone's tight in a box defensively for the Oilers, and no one really steps to him. And not really that there was that clear of an opportunity. It's not like anyone missed an assignment or anything, but it was just like everyone was blocked in. Rhino's honing in, and us watching, we were all like, I could feel everyone's shoulders tense. Like I stood up, everyone was like up, leaning on each other, and I was like, oh my God, fucking rips it in. I think Stewie might want that one back, but still.
He played a good game too. He played a good game. That one is like, a little under the arm. But dude, I got to say, so at this stage in the game, everybody we were kind of with, we were all together for the third. That was kind of our deal because we're wandering a lot. We've said this to you guys before. We're wandering a lot during these games, right?
Yeah.
So we had all said, like, culminating on this epic Game 7, epic season, let's all be together for the third period. But in the second period, we were split up. So you and me and G were somewhere, and I think maybe Merles was somewhere, and everybody, Biz and Whit and everybody else was somewhere. And I was trying to find Merles, or he was trying to find us. So I walked out of the area we were, and I was standing in the hallway waiting for him, and I couldn't see or hear the game. And I was like, fuck, these are like pivotal moments. So I found a little a hallway or whatever, and I walked down, and there's an usher there, and he's like, hey, what's up? And him and I are just like, I wish I got his name. Him and I are just like silently watching the game. And that's when Sammy got the puck and he comes streaking down the right wing and he just snaps it home. And it was like, dude, literally, it felt like nobody was there except for me and this usher. And we were like, oh, and just like jumping. I'm like high-fiving him 50 times. And he's like, you got to stay here. You got to stay here.
This episode of the Empty Netters podcast is brought to you by the cool, crisp, refreshing taste of LABATT Blue Light. We are here in Florida recording the last pod of the season. Panthers just won the cup. We're walking around this unbelievably hot and humid, beautiful, beautiful Fort Lauderdale. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing that's going to cool me down and keep the sweat off my body like a nice LABATT Blue Light. It is without question the greatest light beer that you can have because every single bottle, can, and glass is brewed with Canadian kindness, which is the best kind of kindness in the world. If you're looking to have a nice beer while you're watching hockey, while you're hanging out with the friends, doing the backyard stuff, we got 4th of July coming up. Listen, I'll tell you what, LABATT Blue Light is the best beer to have every single time. It's hockey's favorite beer. It's our favorite beer, and it should be yours as well. Taking a quick break in the pod to talk to you guys about Bauer Hockey. Let's be honest, you know the name because it is the best brand in hockey and has been for about 100 years. Bauer Hockey is taking care of you on every single level of the ice, whether it's your equipment, your stick, your skates, whether it's your gear and apparel. Bauer is the industry-leading standard in the game of hockey. They know exactly what you need, and when it comes to training, Bauer is taking care of you like no one else. They've got the digital reactor dangler. They got the digital slide board. They're going to help your mitts and those hands get as nice as Patrick Kane's. They're going to make your stride look like a gazelle ripping through the Serengeti. Give me a break. Whether you were a beer leaguer, whether you were a pro, Bauer is helping you take your game to the next level, and you're going to use promo code EMPTY, EMPTY, at checkout when you go to bauerhockey.com/training. Get all of that gear to make sure you're stepping it up. Bauer has you covered every time.
Okay, well, Dan, we have time traveled into a different location. Our software crashed. I think the software was too exhausted from the series too, Dan. Like
Chris, I legitimately think you're right.
Like literally,
like I was so mad. So if you guys are listening to the podcast right now, you don't know what we're talking about. But if you're watching, CP and I are in completely different spots right now. And I actually, Chris, I think that our software was just overrode from the insanity of the series and was like, I can't work anymore.
It saw how sweaty I was, and it was like, dude, we need a detox. We're done here. So we're gonna fill in the blanks for the parts that got cut out for everybody, which means we're jumping right back into the third period because I just shared my goal, my Sammy Reiner GWG with a sweet level Usher story.
Yes.
So, dude, then we go into the third, and I said to you, I think we even said on a grid or a story, the Oilers were like 0 and something crazy when even tied going into the third. Panthers best third plus 30 something in the third period.
Yeah, Cat's absolute wagon third period.
It was like this should be over based on all that metrics. And then I thought the Oilers played the best third period they played all playoffs. And it
played great.
Yeah, the Panthers
played
pushed
great.
them to the outside like they do, but it was like the Panthers felt like they were on their heels. It was like that constant icing, you know? It was just like ice it. Like 10 icings in a row. That's when you know you're like, you kind of got them pinned back.
Absolutely. And didn't it feel like, you know, I think we got a couple of DMs of people who said, and I don't mean this in a negative way. I'm not shitting on anybody, but we got a couple of DMs of people who are like, oh, you know, bummer of a third period. And I couldn't disagree more. There were no goals, and I think that's what maybe people mean. But I just thought that third period was so awesome as far as two great teams battling it out. I actually really love scoreless periods when there's that much on the line, whether it's tied or someone's up by one, because that butthole is so tight again. Every play is like, oh my God, everyone's freaking out. And that's what it was like. And the last 10, 12 minutes we'll talk about was just so electric, dude. Like, we talked to Montour on the ice after the game, and he was telling us, like, we were giving him hugs, being like, congrats, buddy. This is amazing. And he was like, dude, that last 10 minutes, I was literally, my eyes were like this.
Yeah.
Just staring up at the Jumbotron the whole period. Like, holy fuck, can this period end? And then my fucking boy, dude, Goose, hugging him too. He was like, dude, and what a fucking game he played.
Yeah,
and
he was incredible.
That he pointed out one play. He was like, dude, you see that shot that went between my legs? I thought I lost us the Stanley Cup.
Yeah,
like,
and they were winning. Like, he was just like, if that goes in, we're fucked. And we did too, remember? Dude, that went through his legs, and I was like, oh my fucking God. Dude, there was a stretch where I was talking to you where the Panthers iced it, and there was like 7:05 on the clock. And then they won the draw and iced it again, and there was like 7:01, and then they won the draw, iced it again. It was like 6:58, and then they won the draw, iced it again. It was back to 7:07, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
You were like, there's been 7 minutes on the clock for 15 minutes. What the fuck is going on,
dude? Yeah, so that was chaos, and it was a good scramble, dude. Like,
it was amazing, dude. Talking about Goose again, like, just a player that good. I love when they pinpoint plays that he couldn't have done anything about, and he's like, I'm so mad about that one thing when he had an otherwise perfect game, and I'm like, God, dude, you guys are fucking elite. But it was awesome. The last few minutes there were some crazy chances. Bob flailing all over the ice, the boys just throwing pucks on net. You, Chris, pointed out, however, in the last minute, Oilers get the puck in, net gets pulled, you're pulling for the empty netter. It doesn't happen. Puck gets in the corner, and the boys are eating it. And there was a sketchy moment where the clock's running down. There's 15 seconds, 14, 13, 12. And a couple of the Panthers forwards were just puck watching.
Puck watching, dude.
I think Rhino was on the ice, and he booked it into the corner to, like, I'm sure he saw maybe the puck squeaking out, and he was like, no, just fucking pin it in there. And who was standing nude in front of the net? Connor McDavid. And I was like, dude, if that puck, like, we got to get a freeze frame.
I'm
of
gonna
that
do
moment.
a post about it in the morning, dude. I have a green screen ready. It's like unthinkable defending.
If that puck were to have squeaked out and it just found Connor McDavid in front, all of Sunrise, Florida would have had a heart attack.
Oh, dude.
But the fucking Florida Panthers, man, they finished the job. I will get into it. We're going to kick it soon here to our chat with Keith Yandle, and we say a lot of it in there, but what a cool, this job is so awesome. And I really love it when there's a final like that, where I'm like, this is just two cool teams with awesome players. And I just want to watch good hockey. But then seeing the Panthers win, I was really overcome with emotion of how many guys on that team. I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, you're getting your cup, and the boys did it, dude. And, like we said, we were earlier today, we were at Elbow Room, seeing the boys ripping it up. They had one hell of a day on the beach today, and awesome content and video coming out of those guys. But fuck me, was it just a beautiful cap to a beautiful season.
Yeah, absolutely right.
But without further ado, let's kick it to our chat with Keith Yandle, a cat himself, as we keep breaking this down.
As you all know by now, we have been partnered with BetMGM for this incredible hockey season, and I need you to get on board. It's so simple, okay? You download the BetMGM app and you use promo code NETTERS, NETTERS. And you know what that's going to get you? I'm going to tell you right now. You can make a bet from $5 to $1,500, and no matter what happens, you chillin'. And here's why. If you win, sick. You're great at gambling. If you lose, it was just a bad beat. And here's the good news. BetMGM will literally take every penny that you bet up to $1,500 and just put it back in your account. And then you can bet again, and then you can win, and it will be awesome. So download the BetMGM app right now, and don't forget that promo code NETTERS. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY from New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico, or visit www.1800gambler.net for West Virginia. First bet offer for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Pausing the podcast for a minute to talk to you guys about our new sponsor, Rocket RX. If you ever experience erectile dysfunction, you can get trusted FDA-approved treatments at a lower price than branded alternatives. It's delivered straight to your door in discreet, plain packaging. No in-person appointments, no pharmacy visits needed. And for our listeners, you can get 20% off your first order if you use promo code NETTERS. That's NETTERS at checkout.
Yans, you called it, came on the show, called it the Catlantic. Panthers come and they win the Atlantic in the last week of the season, and then now here we are celebrating a Stanley Cup. You got the jersey on. I mean, like, you're Nostradamus, dude. This was unbelievable.
I know. Yanstradamus. It's just one of those things. I had a feeling they, last year they probably, they could have won. Obviously, you run into a buzzsaw like Vegas. I think injuries kind of caught up with them last year. Bob wasn't playing his best all season. He comes into this playoffs and he was amazing for all but 3 games,
Truly.
right? Don't get me started on that. I think he should have got Vezina, not Vezina, Conn Smythe. But obviously what McDavid did is amazing. It was just one of those things. I felt like, I didn't even realize the stat. There's only been, I think, 3 teams that have lost in the finals, and then the next year go on and won it. So I didn't even realize that stat. I probably wouldn't have been on my soapbox as much as I was. But definitely excited for those guys. What they've done for the hockey down there and getting people involved. I mean, I got a million texts last night of, friends that were at the game, and then today going cup hunting, trying to find where they're at, the guys partying. And I just said, go to Elbow Room at some point. It's going to be there. And I got a video at like 11 o'clock this morning of them pouring beers off of the balcony into fans' faces. So it was they're gonna have an absolute blast of it.
Dude, we literally just came from Elbow Room. Like, it's 1:30 p.m. and we just came from there with all of them going fucking nuts. So it was crazy.
Yeah, I think you left your voice there.
Oh, I surely did. What did you think going into this game? Like, be honest. Were you like, this is gonna go well for the Cats, or were you completely up in the air? Because like we were kind of like, I have no idea how this is gonna go.
Yes. So the whole time with never, the whole time when they were up 3-0, I thought they were going to sweep the series. Um, then when they went up 3-0, I was looking real good, and then obviously lose a few, and then my big point to all my friends who in Florida who don't know too much about hockey, asking when are they going to close it out, what's going on. My big point was it's so hard to beat a team 4 games in a row, and going into last night, I'm like, okay, now the roles reversed a little bit. Edmonton's won 3 in a row. It's so hard to win that 4th game in a row. You can only hold Bob back so much. Obviously, they had their way with him in a couple of those games, but what he did all series, what the defenseman, especially Aaron Ekblad last night, what he did to McDavid, just shutting him down, giving him no space, couldn't be more happy for him. Obviously, it's a team effort when you're defending McJesus, but especially him and Forsling, they did an amazing job. But every time you get on the ice and you're Connor McDavid and you have to see the big horse 16 out there, you don't want to be on the ice. As good as you are as McDavid, you do not want to be playing against Sasha Barkov every night, especially when you have home change. Anytime 97 went over the board, 16 went over the board. So I thought they were set up for it to be in a good spot to win last night. I would imagine that the last 3 games, you're flying your families out to Edmonton, you're planning all this stuff. You think you got it wrapped up. There was probably a lot of outside noise for those guys. And then I think, with a Game 7 win or go home, it was just, okay, let's get back to the way that we're playing, the way that we played all year. I thought Evan Rodriguez said it great last night. It just, playing that dirty, Cats-like mentality game where they weren't giving the teams much offensively. Obviously you give up a breakaway goal is a little tough, but then after that they just shut it down, find some timely scoring, and even my wife, who she's obviously knows the game a little bit, but she was like, Verhaeghe and Reinhart need to score tonight.
Jesus Christ.
It was insane. I know. We were literally driving home from grabbing dinner, and she's like, those guys need to score. They haven't done too much, and she called it.
Dude, I was going to say the Yanstradamus goes clearly beyond just you. Like it's with Kristen too, because you guys are just fucking sniping this game. This is ridiculous.
It's a family affair, yeah, but hers isn't on record, so it could never even happen.
Dude, I just think like this we were talking earlier, this the lore of the Oilers and the fact that it was McDavid and like all of the, Canada hasn't won since 93, all of that crazy shit going against them. It almost felt like this is too much for this Florida team to like surmount, it just felt truly insurmountable. And the fact that they dug deep and won it, like I was blown away, but it felt like the first shift, it was like the team that we remembered from games 1 through 3. And I was like, oh shit, we got a game. Like they're going to do it here because they have actually done the, okay, fuck it. Games 1 through 6 don't matter now. It's one game, win or die. And let's do it. And it was like crazy to see.
Yeah, and I can only imagine the pressure on those guys in Edmonton. I thought Florida, the pressure is kind of off your shoulders as much as, you're thinking of, okay, it could be the, worst collapse in NHL history. That's kind of probably in your mind a little bit. But I think as a player that the more pressure was on Edmonton because, I heard stories there were flights from Toronto to Vancouver with Let's Go Oilers chants. Like you have the weight of a country on your shoulders. And I think you saw it a little bit last night with Skinner. Like he was not himself last night. Whether the pressure got to him, even the goals that they scored. I mean, obviously an amazing tip by Swaggy, but Reinhart's goal wasn't one that Skinner's been giving up.
Yep.
He did worry. Like what was he, 4-0 against elimination games, whatever his stat was. It was, you had a little bit of doubt with how good he's played, but I thought the pressure got to him a little bit last night, which, it's part of the game. And, when you're on the road, the crowd looked amazing. You bring out Alanis Morissette. I mean, how can you lose in front of Alanis Morissette?
Dude, and you know that was a response to Shania. Like, Shania was coming out in Edmonton and fucking buzzing up those people, and they're like, we've got to do something here, and they pulled out the big guns, dude. That was a huge move. It
was. I was actually wondering if the NHL, I mean, I don't know who chooses the anthem singers, but I wonder if the NHL had anything to do with that, with having a Canadian and she's Canadian, but she's probably lived most of her life in the US. So yeah, but I thought it was great. I mean, Alanis Morissette was, that's my childhood memories, listening to those tunes.
For sure. Do you think that so you just mentioned the boys being at Elbow, and we just were there. We just saw the party going on. I am not sure, like, day after winning the cup, I'm not sure that there's a better place in the NHL to party with the cup. Like, watching that video of Chucky grabbing the cup and jumping into the Atlantic, like, all the boys are just rocking their fucking Pit Viper glasses, shorts, and just dumping beers on themselves. I'm like, how could you want to be anywhere else than on the beach right here?
Yeah. I mean, because you think about it, Vegas is probably awesome, but, it's a tourist thing. There's so much stuff going on there. Like, how invested the fans were in Florida, the last 2 years, it's been amazing. And, they deserve it. The 31 years of, never winning a cup. I haven't seen the video of Matthew jumping in the water yet, but that's incredible. But I was hoping they were going to have the parade on the boats up and down the intercoastal.
Like Tampa did, dude. Like Tampa did.
Yeah,
I was saying the same thing.
I'm sure they'll do something, I would imagine. But the only thing is more people, if you're on A1A, you get more people out watching. I mean, you're right on the beach. But yeah, I agree with you. I don't think there's a better place that you can pick to win it. Minus, it's probably a little bit too hot right now. If it was in March or something, it would be amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's going to be a lot of casualties out there. People, in the sun too much, drinking a little too heavy, not having enough water. But yeah, for the first time ever, I'm mad in the summertime that I'm not in Florida and I'm up here in it.
Dude, I hear you, man. Like, it is a part, but you're right. It is too hot. Like, we just walking back to do this podcast, I was fucking leaking. It felt like I jumped in a pool.
Leaking, dude.
Oh,
unbelievable. So
yeah. Yans.
No. You go.
Jens, I want to ask about the Conn Smythe thing because you brought that up earlier. So I feel like if Bob had given up one or two less goals in the losses, like if those losses had been like 2-1 jobs, they give it to him. But I understand that Connor, you got 42, but 0 points in game 6 and 7 for the kid. Like, those are the big ones, So it sounds like you're on the Bob train, but I was kind of shocked by that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got to tip your cap to him. I think he tied Wayne's record or something with assists.
I think he finished third all time. Wayno did 40. Oh yeah, he broke the assist record. Right. Wayno did 47 once, and then maybe a 44 even, and Connor got 42. So it's fucking epic.
Yeah. So I mean, anytime you're in the same company as Wayne, you probably deserve a trophy. But I just think it should go. And I'm sure Connor would say the same thing. I mean, I shouldn't speak for him, but the winning team should, the guys should get it. And obviously it's not going to take away from anything that Bob did or Barkey did. Even a guy like Evan Rodriguez, whose name could have been in the hat for a Conn Smythe, but yeah, I mean, anytime Connor gets an award, it's rightfully so. What he's doing in this game right now is truly amazing. And, he's must-watch TV every time he's on. So you can't hate the fact that he won it. But, I would just, no matter if my team won or lost, I would like to see a guy from the winning team.
Yeah.
What about him not coming out to get it, though?
Dude,
did you see that?
I'm jumping in here. I can't fucking stand anyone who's giving him shit for that, dude. I'm so with Yans. Like,
People are giving him
tons
shit
of
for
people
that?
are giving him shit for that. They're like, oh, what a bad look. Connor didn't come out. And I'm like, what are you? It would have been a worse look if his team's in the locker room after that battle, and he's like, yeah, let me just go get my personal award. I think it's fucking nuts that anyone's giving him shit. Like, I would have done the same thing. Why in the world would he skate out there and be like, yeah, thanks so much, Gary. This is really awesome. I feel great about this achievement. Like, fuck that.
Yeah. You even see it when the guys who do win it and their team wins the cup, they don't even like, they just grab it and they're like, oh,
cool. Yeah.
Thanks. Like, let's get the big boy here. Like, so for a guy to lose, I would have bet every dollar in my bank account that he wasn't going to go out and accept that had I known he was going to do that.
Completely agree.
Yeah, no, you couldn't. I mean, the fans were booing a little bit too. It would have been absolutely nuts if he went out there. But yeah, I can't believe people are giving him a hard time about that. I mean, obviously at the end of his career, he's going to look back and it's an amazing accomplishment. Something only a handful of people in this world have ever done. But I think there was no shot in hell he was going out to grab
no way.
that.
There were a ton of Oilers fans there, though, that wanted to see him come out. Like, there was a ton of Oilers fans in that barn. Maybe they do it differently, though. Like, because I wasn't giving him shit, but I was kind of rattled that he didn't come. And I was like, maybe they shouldn't. It just looked so awkward, I guess. Like, I wish Gary had been like, hey, Connor McDavid won. We're presenting it to him in his own locker room. It just looked so weird that he was like, Connor McDavid. And then nobody, like, nothing happened. And I was like, what the fuck? So they got to figure that out.
I'm sure they'll have it out in Vegas for the awards and, have take his pictures with it and stuff. But at the end of the day, he wasn't out there to win that award. He was out there to try to
exactly,
win
dude. It's and I'm with you, Jans. Like, there was a lot of people in our DMs. Like, someone asked recently, like, is Connor a lock for the Conn Smythe no matter what? And I was like, I don't think so. I think if Bob has like a shutout or something, there's a chance that he gets it. And I would have given it to Bob. I mean, for him to play the way he did all playoffs, games 1 through 3. And then to just nut up in that game 7 like that, I'm like, just give it to Bob. I mean, like, right now, if you were talking to Connor right now, if you were like, all right, would you be bummed if he'd be like, I don't give a fuck about that trophy. So it's just like, I don't really know what we gave it to him. All right, Jans.
Can we go back on the fact that, like, just speaking of good goaltending, the goalies that the Bruins beat that the Panthers beat this playoff.
Oh my God, dude.
Insane.
Oh my God.
Vasi, Swayman,
Shesterkin,
Igor, and then in Skinner, like, it's they had one of the hardest. What's that?
I was just gonna say, to add to that, the goalies were also on heaters.
Yeah.
Like, Skinner, I wouldn't be like is an all-time goal, but that was like the best Skinner played ever. And even Sway, who I fucking love and is elite, Sway was on an all-time heater. Like, they really caught like the hottest goalie hands possible.
Yeah, if the Bruins didn't have Swayman, they would have beat them in 3.
I feel the same way about New York, dude. I feel the same way about New York. Like, I mean, Igor was keeping that New York team alive in every single way. But Chris, well said. Like, Skinner maybe on paper isn't the same quality as those other 3 guys, but fucking A, has he been playing well. So, yeah, every goalie was absolutely firing. So I am curious, Jens, do you think we had Vegas last year? We just saw, the run that Tampa went on, winning 2 cups, and then Vegas winning last year, and now Florida winning. Like, these aren't flukes, right? Like, this is big. Like, Southern hockey and these Southern markets are not fucking around. Like, guys want to go and play here. The fan bases are real, and they're starting to bring hardware home. Like, do you see a shift going on?
100%. And I think it's getting to the fact that, I think with social media, with, you're going out on the road, you're spending, more time in cities. I just think a big part of it has to, no state taxes. Like, I just think the biggest part of all this is just guys are more aware of what's out there, as opposed to, you get drafted by a team, you kind of stay there, whatever. But nowadays it's like, get me to Florida, get me to Tampa, get me to Vegas. Like, I was talking to one of the brass in Florida. I'm like, your guys is the only tough part is now is everyone's going to want to sign here, and you don't have room for everyone. Like, there's like, come July 1, whoever's the big guy in every single year, the next however many years, they're going to want to be in Florida. Amazing place to live, new practice facility right downtown. So sick. That was kind of the knock for a while. It's like, oh yeah, you live down you live in Florida. If you had a family, like when I first got there, most of the guys with families lived out in Parkland. It's like, why would you live in Florida and not live on the water? Now everybody's downtown, and now you have the practice rink there. You have the guys, in the community, out and about. You see them around all the time. Yeah, I can't think of a better place to play. The weather obviously is amazing. And there's more and more places, like Dallas is another one of those places. Like guys are going to want to play there. Guys don't want to be cooped up in their houses for 8-9 months a year in the freezing cold. So I think more and more it's going to be, either whether they bring more teams to the South. It's proven that it's worked. And it's one of those things where, if I was a 30 or 28-year-old hitting the free agent market, my first call would be to Florida, Tampa, Carolina, Dallas, Vegas, like all these teams that are good weather, like you said, good fans, and now they're proven winners.
I think Nashville's in that category too.
Now Stamkos is a Panther, so that helps.
No, it's fucking true. All right. On that note, what do you think is going to go on here now with some of these big boys on both these teams? Like, do you think Rhino figures it out, takes maybe a team-friendly deal and stays? And then what you just said, because I've been talking about this, I don't want to stir the pot and be a rumor boy here, but like, do you think Edmonton runs it back? Like, do you think Draisaitl stays? Do you think Connor is like, I'm staying for sure? Like, what do you think's going on here?
So Leon has one more year? He could re-sign this summer. I think a lot will, you'll see a lot this summer. If he stays and signs an extension, then I would imagine Connor is going to do the same. They're probably a package deal to stay there. But like we're saying, like, these guys see other places where you can play. Obviously they love it there. Anytime playing in Canada is amazing with the fan bases and, how into hockey people are there, but it's not one of those things anymore where, because the guy's been there for 10 years, it's an automatic home run that he's going to stay home.
Yeah.
So, I obviously that's out of my pay grade to pick where he's going to go or where he, whether he likes it there or not. I don't know him, but it will be interesting to see if he re-signs this summer or not. And obviously Connor's going to have a lot to say with that. And I would imagine if he does re-sign, then it's Connor telling him that he's going to re-sign the next summer, and then they'll be there for a long time. But you never know. These once the season's over and you start thinking of things like this, it's it makes for fun topics.
No, Connor's like, you resign so I can fucking leave, and then everyone can yell at you, and I'll be in Tampa, I'll be in Florida winning cups, dude, and it's fine. Thanks for coming out, pal.
How upset would Leon be?
Oh my god, dude! I think he would defect. He would pull a Kovalchuk and he would just get the fuck out of here. Holy shit!
Jens, I got a question for you, dude. Here was my biggest takeaway watching the celebration last night. I don't think the boys take a long enough lap with the cup. They hand it to him, and then they fucking walk to the end of the driveway, pick up the newspaper that the teenager tossed there, and then they come back in. I'm like, go around the fucking neighborhood, dude.
Yeah,
I'd be strutting that ass around the entire rink. Literally, dude. They go 20 feet and they come right back, and I'm like, you're gonna win another one, dude. This is the moment.
I know.
Mikola, like go wander around, dude. So yeah, I don't know how I gotta talk to, but we need to be taking longer laps with the cup.
I think the biggest thing is, and you realize, you see it when guys are holding it up, every guy's banged up. I'm sure every guy's shoulders are killing them. They can barely hold that thing up. So I think anything longer than like a 10, 15 second lap, guys are probably going to get tired out just because their bodies are so worn down right now. Obviously, if it was in the beginning of the season, you could do a 10-mile lap, but now they're just so exhausted. Their bodies are absolutely mangled. And you know how hockey guys are, like they just want to give it to the next guy.
So true.
So he can enjoy
it.
That's what it looks like, right? It's like, it's such a team game,
like that,
ultimate team sport where no one wants the light to be on them. They're like, okay, I got my time. And the excitement that you see, like last night, I think it was, who handed it to Ekblad? Maybe Rhino. one of those guys, but the excitement of just seeing each other and giving it to them, and it was beautiful. And I think that's, one of the best traditions in hockey is just getting that one last assist of handing the cup to your buddy and having him go for a stroll. And you look in the line, like when they show the camera of when the guy's going around and you see his teammates in the background and their ear to ear smiles, the guys who are waiting are more happy for the guy that's going around with it, because he's just kind of like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? And then everyone else is like going nuts. So it's I think it just puts a stamp on how unselfish hockey players are, and what a great team.
Dude, I think there was also an element of this team specifically. There were so many guys on this Panthers team that when you were watching that cup celebration, you were like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, I'm so happy he finally got one. I mean, Ekblad, obviously, but then like Bob, fucking Okposo, OEL, Maurice. Like, there were so many guys that I was like,
dude, Paul's. I was actually I was surprised how emotional I got with Paul's. I don't know if they had the cameras on him on TV, but like he was like, you could see him like, oh my God, lifted in the air. Like, it was so happy. That was a really cool moment.
I saw a cool angle, and it was Maurice holding it up, and Lomberg was looking at him, and he was just like, looking at him like, oh my God, we finally did. You could just see the look in Lomberg's face of like, I'm sure they've all talked about it. Maurice has been a head coach since 30 years or whatever it was. Like
damn near 30.
The shit that guy's been through, and the ups and downs, and you could just see it in the guys that went to war for him, that they were so excited for him. But yeah, I agree with you. Like, all Rekman Larson, a guy I played with in Phoenix my first, maybe 4 or 5 years, like, to see him out there, he played amazing.
Oh my God, dude. All series. All series.
And last I texted my buddies. I'm like, I feel like OEL's played 30 minutes already. Like, he was out there every other shift. He came in as a 6'7" guy, and just amazing play from him. Up and down their lineup, just guys that you're happy for, and a lot of the guys that I got to play with and know how hard. And Bob's one of those guys too. You saw in his face last night after he won, when he got that cup, it was like, oh my God, I've done it. He's won 2 Vezinas. He's, could win his 3rd this year. And, the last thing he had to do to prove his Hall of Fame status is to win that cup. And you could see, like, we brought him in there, and I think he was the highest paid goalie at the time.
That's correct.
Had a couple bad years. Obviously it's not all on him. There's a whole team, aspect to that. But to see the relief in his face, and I know how hard he works. He's arguably the hardest working goalie I've ever played with. And just to see the relief in his face, I'm sure he had so many emotions going through him, but just special moments. And that's you stay up late. I was tired this morning, but you're staying up, and you're just rooted, like, so happy for these guys living out their dream. And Evan Rodriguez, another guy, quote machine. He said,
dude,
he was like, to all the kids out there, keep dreaming. It can happen to you, type thing. I'm not exactly sure what he said, but just know that it's even better than when you dream it. And, that's just an amazing thing to preach to kids. And, I know my kids were watching the game, and you see that of people living out their dreams. It's
dude,
amazing.
There's that Liev Schreiber Stanley Cup commercial where, like, it's just showing everyone winning the cup so happy. And the quote is like, it turns men into boys. And it's the most true thing in the world, dude. Like, you said it a bunch of times, like, seeing the smiles on their faces. And I'm like, oh God, what a fucking feeling.
Dan, wouldn't you say, because we're on the ice after, right? The guys are in shock still. Like, when we go up and, like, dap up the boys we know, and they're literally, like, in a daze. Like, they're like, dude, what the fuck? Like, they have no idea where they are. Like, I'm pretty sure they will not even remember seeing me
for sure
on the ice. Like, they have no memory of the last night. It's insane.
A blur. And I was thinking it too. Like, these guys, like, when you're a young kid playing hockey, everyone does, Game 7,
Game 7, baby.
Yep. It's like your dream as a kid. The kids who don't play sports have dreams of becoming doctors, or women have dreams of getting married and all this stuff. Like, your dream as a kid playing hockey is to hoist that Stanley Cup. And, 26 or 27 guys got to do that last night. And no matter who the team is every year, it's just amazing to see, how excited those guys are.
It's unreal.
And not that they probably wanted it in 5, but just kind of sweeter considering they won. Like going through all that, you could feel that in their energy too. When we were talking to them, they were like, "Holy fuck, dude, that was almost a disaster."
Well, even like, because after Game 3, they go up 3-0. Like I remember talking to my buddies, it's like obviously it's nice that they're gonna go and win this in 4, but I just want more hockey. And they strung it along for us fans of the game to make it as enjoyable as possible to the last minute, the last day. And I can't believe that these guys have to turn around and go to the draft the next day.
Dude, it's a
what is
disaster.
the Panthers plane gonna smell like going out to the draft?
It's gonna be truly one of those things. The fucking gate is gonna open and beer cans are gonna spill out, and just like a vapor of booze is gonna leak out the door.
Oh, so good.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
We were just saying that. Jens, did you think, and maybe it was nothing because we just played great because it was Game 7 and he dialed in, but what'd you think about that rest day for Bob? We were talking with Whit before the game, and Whit, he was on the Oilers, obviously, and Whit was like, the thing that made me most nervous is that rest day for Bob, where they were like, just go home. Don't even come to the rink. Chill out and just fucking dial in for Game 7. Yeah, do you think that was big?
I just texted Rob Tallis, the goalie coach, and I said, unbelievable coaching job by you telling Bob to stay away, because I know playing with Bob, he's one of those guys you have to literally be like, okay, you cannot come to the rink. Like, you're not invited. Like, you can't go on the ice because he wants his
picture's up at the door. Yeah. Do not admit this man, dude.
He's at the door.
Yeah.
And it's a small thing, whether it meant anything, whether it, gave him that extra 2% to be a better goalie last night. Whether it didn't mean anything, I think it was a great move. And I would imagine that Rob Tallis and Roberto Luongo were probably behind that. And, just giving him his rest day and going, relaxing at home, just kind of doing what he needs to do. And then, because in the morning he's gonna be so dialed, he's gonna do his routine, get ready, and he showed why he was the best.
What do you think? What do you think a rest day? What do you think Bob was doing at home? Because he doesn't strike me as a Harry Potter marathon on Netflix guy.
No.
What do you think he was doing?
I bet he has like the sauna, the infrared beds, the cold tubs. I bet he had everything. He does these crazy workouts on the medicine ball. I'm sure he was doing those, like standing up on the medicine ball, making saves.
Yeah.
It was more of a day on than probably most people, but he saved himself by having to lace up the pads for a day.
That's what he needed, though. I
think he was probably in full equipment walking around his house, just like going through the motions.
His wife throwing apples at him. He's saved.
Yeah.
Fucking
A. Oh man! And dude, he was everywhere last night because there was a couple scrambles and he was fucking flopping, flying around. He lost his stick twice. I saw him a few times and I was like, "There's no fucking chance he's giving up another goal." He was all over the place.
When they got up 1, I thought it was going to finish 1-0, and obviously they found a way to score 1, but then they were showing him in warm-ups, like he was tracking the puck like into his glove, just looking at it, like you could just tell he was dialed in.
Seeing it, dude. He's seeing it. I kept saying that, Jens. It's when, dude, every time a goalie, a point shot gets through like 8 legs and the goalie's just like snap and catches it, I'm like, oh fuck. That's when I know. I'm like, oh dude, they know exactly where the puck is at all times. I could tell. He was sick. Dude, Jens, kind of a weird last 4 minutes from the Oilers, eh? I thought they had it was like a late pull on Skinner. They had, with like 3 minutes left, they had the big boys out and the Panthers were gassed. And I was like, pull him now, dude. And they waited, and then like line 2 came out, and then they pulled him. I thought that I know it's crazy stressful and it's all flying by, but I thought that last 4 minutes was kind of weird.
Yeah, and what did they say? Connor played the last like 3.5 of 4 minutes. Probably the best skater to ever play the game. Like, probably doesn't get as tired as most guys. Like, you could see he was just, they gave it their all. They were out there, trying to put the team on their back, and amazing effort from all those guys. From top to bottom, not just Connor and Leon. Like, their entire team was awesome all playoffs. But yeah, I'm sure. I bet if you asked the coaches if they would do something different, maybe they would. Yeah, it's just the heat of the moment out there. You're just putting your big boys out there and hope to get one.
Yeah, I think you got to do it too, right? But you're right, man. It's you could see in that game in particular, like what a performance from some of the big boys on Florida. You could see that going up against Barkov, going up against Ekblad, going up against Forsling was just like really breaking Connor and Leon down. Like he was. There was a couple times in the second period where he was, Connor got the puck in the offensive zone and he was doing his just self cycle thing, and I was like, oh shit, like here it comes. But then in the third period, he wasn't moving the same, and that's a testament to how good that Florida team did of just shutting it down. That was fucking nuts.
Yeah, they did such a good job. Even in the first period, second period, the Oilers had a bunch of offensive zone time, but everything was on the outside. And I thought that the Panthers did such a good job of clogging up the middle and not letting them, get any opportunities in close. And you also got to tip your cap. And I know everyone, watching home saying, "Hey, it's a game 7, everyone's going to block a shot," but those guys block shots like it was a game 7. And Luosterainen and Lundell and Forsling, Montour, like blocking shots when, it's diving face first. Like the one Bob was kind of flopping around, like Lusty was, 7 inches away from taking one in the face. And I'm sure he would, do that over and over again. Like it's truly amazing to, to see what these guys put out there, to win a game. Like it's definitely a lot of fun to watch, and you recognize, how bad these guys really want it and how close they were last year. And, it's not a guarantee every year that you'll be back. And I thought that they did a great job of, closing it out and playing the way that they did all year.
Fuck yeah. It's unbelievable.
Refocusing. Totally agree. They, like you said at the top, Dan, they just looked refocused. They looked normal again instead of the stress and all that bullshit of the pressure. It was just like, okay, go win a fucking hockey game.
Totally.
That's what happened.
All right. Well, Jans, we can let you go. I know that you got to pack and shit before we see you.
Repeat? We're going to repeat?
That's what I was going to say. Before we let you go, and we'll see we'll see you in 2 days in Vegas. But what do you think? Do you think these boys try to run it back next year?
I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, they're set up to do it, right? Like I think, we kind of touched on a little bit Reinhart. I think, you take a couple $1 million less, you're essentially, you go play somewhere with a higher tax bracket, like you're making the same amount of money. So I think, on paper, whether he signs for 8, if he signed that in, I don't know where, in somewhere else, like that's a $11 million contract. So I think that these guys know, how special that group is. You hear everybody talking how they're, such a close knit group, and it's a family like mentality, and that stems from the Violas. That even when I was there, it's like everything was family first. And Vinny and Teresa, Doug Sifu, that's all they pushed was family first. And I tell the story all the time. Vinny brought us all to the Kentucky Derby with our wives to watch his horse, and just wanted us to be a part of that. And obviously we didn't win the cup that year, and we had nothing to celebrate. But he was just a guy that wanted his guys to feel like his family. Every year he takes us to his restaurant that he grew up going to, Belmonte's in Brooklyn. So just little things like that, where the owners, you can tell they really care about the guys, and that they have their backs on and off the ice. And I think that the guys see that, and I'm sure they'll want to run it back and bring another cup back down to South Florida and keep it going in Florida.
Always love it when Jans comes on. Fucking the best guy ever. He's really our just kind of our third.
He knew, dude.
In a lot of ways at this point. I love it when Jans joins, and he knew.
Janstradamus,
he knew.
Baby.
Called it the Catlantic, called the cup. I think we both picked had them as cup favorites.
I've actually, you're right. I had them winning the cup since day 1 of the season, and
it's always the year of the chalk.
Sturdy.
It was always the year of the chalk.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, man, as we kind of close things down here, shut the doors on the season at least. what an unbelievable ride, dude. I mean, fucking hell. That was just such an insane end to this season to have these two teams furthest travel in Stanley Cup history, Florida and Edmonton, going back and forth from Edmonton and Florida, all these awesome fans watching Edmonton claw back from down 3-0 to give us the most exciting series of all time. Could you have imagined a better Stanley Cup final finish? This was just storybook stuff.
So lucky that we get to see that, dude. It was insane. Everybody I talked to before the game, both sides of fans, win or lose, they were like, what, I'll never forget this my whole life. What an experience. Massive shouts to the Oilers fans. We said earlier that they took over the barn. Massive shouts to the Oilers fans that traveled, dropped everything, dude. Dropped significant amount of money, and then we're leaving at like 6 a.m. today, and they were like, we're going, dude. I'm going to be there. I'm not going to miss it. And they were so incredibly nice to us to hang with. The ones that spoke to, you know who you are, but really across both fan bases and everywhere we go, man. But this series especially, huge thank you to everyone that comes up and says what's up. I feel so lucky, so happy to do this job. I have a fucking blast doing it, and 90% of it is the people we get to talk to and the people we get to hang with on location. So don't stop saying hi, and I'm glad we all were in that one together, man. Holy shit.
Well said, dude. Well said. I also just want to shout out the fans everywhere, but, just talking about this cup, particularly Edmonton, Florida fans. You guys are so fun, so welcoming. And, I know we all snapping around, giving each other shit and having fun. But at the end of the day, it's just like, what a cool community of people. And I do want to say, I am really glad. I thought both these teams were so fun, and I'm so impressed and just blown away with their work effort. I am going to say I'm glad Florida won. I do think that they were the better team.
Me too.
I thought they were the better team, and they deserved it. And to win it at home in front of their fans and just like seeing all those guys, the smiles on their faces like we talked about, it was just so fucking awesome to see. So really, I couldn't think of a more perfect ending to this season. And just all the love in the world, to the boys on both of those teams, to all the fans like we talked about, to the NHL for always taking care of us and being so cool and giving us the best league in the world to watch and enjoy. And fucking A, man. The train keeps rolling for us.
Onto the draft, dude.
We're headed to the draft tomorrow. We'll have tons of content for that. We've got a huge episode coming out on Thursday this week, breaking down all the draft with our boy Cam Robinson. And can't wait to do all that stuff with you guys. And then, as always, we'll have a great, fun off season with some great interviews and fun stuff like that. But for now, we do get a bit of a rest from all the hockey. And damn, was it a good one?
I wouldn't change a thing, bud. Wouldn't change a thing.
Was it a good one? Well, folks, that is it for us on the 2023-24 season. What a fucking beauty it was. We'll keep crushing the content as always. We're going to find new stuff to talk about with the draft, free agency, tons of fun interviews. So we will see you next time on the Empty Noters podcast. And until we do,
take a day off, but then skate hard.